So again, we've got fourplex. I love, like, Montreal's just got some of the coolest staircases. I noticed that we used to go downtown or stay downtown Montreal once a year for the Osheaga music festival, and it was always cool just seeing all the buildings. But even these, like, you know, recently purpose built, recently as in like the last 50, 60 years, still have some neat character as well. What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and well, in this episode of Deal Destruction, I got stood up. So someone actually sent me a property, but they never showed up on Zoom. I don't really know what's up here, Deal Destruction Nation, but you guys, you seem to enjoy these videos, but no one books to come on and actually have their deal destroyed or analyzed or whatever you want to call it. And about half the time people do book it, they stand me up. This is just kind of a great reminder for myself about the value of things that are given out for free. People don't value that shit whatsoever. But anyways, I still need to shoot an episode, so let's do a screen share. Thankfully, I've still got the deal the person originally sent to me. So let's go analyze this deal, I guess. So all I really know is this is a fourplex in Montreal. I also know, I don't know much about Montreal, but let's check it out together, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So first things first, check out map. Yes, it is in Montreal. So, okay. And I guess this would be kind of like the southeast of the Montreal Island, right? That's what you would call it. So I don't know really what neighborhood this is in. Let's just grab the address and maybe we'll jump over to Google Street View and I'll at least learn the name of this. Oh, LaSalle maybe is the neighborhood here. Let's do that. Find out what sort of neighborhood it is. Oh, and by the way, if you guys aren't on Cashflow Tribe, you should totally be checking it out. Lots of free, great calculators going on. Yeah, so okay, I guess this is LaSalle, Quebec. Let's see what this neighborhood's like. Pros and cons of living in LaSalle. Perfect. I actually really like Reddit for these sort of things as well. I'm sort of entertained the idea of buying a bungalow in LaSalle, south of Douglas. Beautiful little homes down there. Seems quite quiet too. I know my biggest problem will be downtown distance, 50 hours a week at Victoria Square. I don't have a car. And I assume it's a necessity. Been living there for 7 years. I'm a bit west of where you're thinking about. Neighborhood is great and quiet, quite quiet. There's a pocket of dubious activity west-northwest of you near the LaSalle Mall and Bishop Power. Nothing to worry about, just dense, cheap housing. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time learning about this neighborhood, but this is one of the ways I'd go about learning about a local neighborhood, right? Just getting a feel for it. See what other people are sharing in regards to it. Let's jump back to the property itself, though. Check out these photos. So again, we've got fourplex. I love, like, Montreal's just got some of the coolest staircases. I noticed that we used to go downtown or stay downtown Montreal once a year for the Osheaga music festival. And it was always cool just seeing all the buildings. But even these, like, recently purpose built, recently as in like the last 50, 60 years, still have some neat character as well. So see some registers there. We'll want to see whether this is electrical or a boiler system for heating. Windows aren't like new, but they're not super old. Otherwise, looks decent. Bit of storage down in the laundry room. Wonder if that could ever be repurposed and reused as a livable space. this is always interesting just when you're going through videos, right? Seeing a fan there, that tells me that, like, you know, is it this room gets really hot and they're trying to blow some of the cool air in there? If this was taken in winter, is it that there's no heat or the heat's not adequate in this little addition or add-on? So small little things like that sometimes can be very telling about what it's like to live in the unit. If I was walking through this unit and talking to the tenants and I saw that fan, I would definitely ask them, you know, hey, what's up? Why do you got the fan there? And again, usually they'll just tell you whatever the case may be. Everything, you know, looks relatively clean. Some stuff's pretty dated. I really do like that front staircase though. I guess otherwise, if we jump back here, we can see the different meters, right? So I see at least 4 meters, it looks like. A little bit hard to tell. I think there's only 4 there, but presumably all the units are on their own meter. One thing to note too is just looking at the side of the building here. The windows in the basement are really small, but it looks like in theory you could cut them in to be bigger without even having to put window wells. So if the ceiling heights were appropriate in the basement and if the zoning allowed it, there might be some potential to add living space there. Again, I know nothing about the Montreal rules and stuff, so no idea if they would actually allow that, but something to consider. And certainly it already looks like some of the basements being used for living space. So let's check out this description. Massive 35 by 60 foot income property, a few steps from the water's edge, park, green spaces, and green alley on the back side of the building, ideal for investors wishing to optimize the investment or owner who wishes to live there. Main unit on 2 floors, offering up to 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, backyard, and parking. All right, cool. Some generic information here. I think one thing I saw, it looks like here in Montreal or like in Quebec's realtor board, you can click over to the actual listing agent's page and there'll be more information. So we've got a little bit more detail here, just kind of giving us, you know, like, oh, main unit is pictures 5 to 15. That's useful to know. All 4.5 units have an individual laundry room in the basement included in their storage. Access downstairs. Okay. Photos again. Got some of the financial information. Price is $965. We can see total taxes down here. Just kind of get a feel for the area again. All right, so this is our little fourplex. So I guess the first thing for me is really, like with any property, is understanding what the goal of the investor is. Now, I'm going to guess at what the goal of the investor was, which was cash flow. And immediately this is going to be a tough property cash flow, right? Because where did I see it? Oh, maybe it was on the detailed sheet, but the gross rents are only in the 4,000 range, if I remember correctly. And just looking at where property taxes are and the purchase price, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle to really make these numbers work. So yeah, gross annual rents are $40,000. So if we keep that there, go here. So we're kind of looking at 965,000 as the purchase price. We've got about $40,000 in rent. So that's going to be $3,333 a month, right? And this is our gross rents. So right off the bat, my big struggle is just how in the hell am I going to be able to cash flow on a property like that? Now, if we're on this detailed sheet again, I can see that the municipal taxes are $6,744 a month. So right again, that's a decent chunk of my cash flow just going to taxes. So that's 12. So this is property taxes. And presumably the tenants are paying for their own utilities. I didn't see it stated outright anywhere. But again, I am just kind of skimming this. But seeing how it's got separate meters, I'm going to make that assumption. Otherwise, there would definitely be no way to make this cash flow. So getting back here, then if I assume that maybe we're just having to pay for heat, I'll just put in utilities here. Let's just put a place marker of $200 a month for now. Then beyond that, I'm going to want to factor in things like property management, vacancy, bad debt, you know, all the usual things. We've also got insurance up here. Again, I have no idea what insurance would be on a fourplex, but I'm going to put $200 a month just as a placeholder. Property management, I usually like to use somewhere in the realm of 5 to 10%, depending upon the type of building we're using. Seeing how this is a small building, I'm going to use 10%. And my assumption there is essentially 8% for property management, 1% is grass, and 1% is going to be snow. And so that's kind of how we'll do that. I'm going to take my vacancy and bad debt, just use maybe 5% for this. And we'll also put down our repairs and maintenance. I'll do another 5% here. And so just kind of quickly looking at our cash flow before debt service. I'm not going to have a lot to work with. So I've got $1,700 a month before I start trying to pay my mortgage. And again, if we were to use what I like to call the 100K, or yeah, the 100K 500 rule, essentially what that means is that for every 100K we borrow, it's going to cost us $500 a month. And that assumes a 3.5% interest rate on a 25-year amortization period. Again, this is just a rule of thumb, but let's take that $965 purchase price. If we assume that we were going to be buying it with a 20% loan to value, that means $772,000 that I need to mortgage. Now, if I'm paying roughly $500 per 100,000, I can simply take this divided by that 100,000 and then times it by 500, and that's going to give me my mortgage payment here, right? So this is my mortgage. And as we can see, I'm going to be very much in the negative cash flow on this one. So the only way that I'd really want to consider this is if for whatever reason cash flow wasn't important to me, or if I could get tenant turnover. I'm going to guess based upon the fact that this fourplex in Montreal is only renting out for like, you know, $800 a unit, that odds are it's severely under rented. If it is severely under rented, then maybe there's the opportunity that, you know, if gross rents here should be actually $8,000, say those apartments can rent out for $2,000 a month. Well, then that really changes the math if I can get a couple units vacant. But certainly, if I can't get tenant turnover here and get much higher gross rents in the building, there's just no way to cash flow at that price point. So the only other options potentially available to me would be something like a vendor take-back mortgage, where maybe I ask for a really big vendor take-back mortgage, really low interest rate, maybe interest-only payments. That's really the only way I could see of structuring a deal like this to actually work from a cash flow perspective. Otherwise, you know, could you flip it? Well, again, we're going to need to get vacant possession of those units in order to turn it over. And I know that, or what I've heard of, is that Quebec and Montreal is very similar to Ontario in the fact that it's quite difficult to generate tenant turnover unless your tenants want to work with you or unless they haven't been paying you. But right now, I don't have any reason to believe that's the case on this building. So unless I could pre-negotiate a cash for keys before closing on this deal, this deal would definitely not be of interest to me. Now, the other thing we haven't talked about is, you know, what do neighboring buildings sell for? This could even be priced low for all I know compared to comparable sales, but that's still not that enticing unless there's a lot of just free equity sitting there. And I mean, if it's on the MLS already, odds of there just being a ton of free equity just sitting there begging for someone to come buy it is relatively low. So again, my assumptions here is that you need that tenant turnover in order to even have this property have a chance of being a deal, have it even have a chance of cash flowing. All right, so that's the fourplex in Montreal in the neighborhood I know nothing about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but you know what would be really cool? If you guys would book your own episode of Deal Destruction, actually show up on time, and then I'd actually have someone to talk to the deal about. Because, I mean, I don't know. If you guys enjoy me just looking at random deals myself, let me know in the comment section down below, because I definitely need that feedback. Because if this isn't providing value for you guys, well, there's probably better things I could do with my time as well. So let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see Deal Destruction continue, because it really is up to you guys to, book those episodes, show up on time. So I've got some content to make. Anyways, appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video.